Many years ago, when I first started covering women's hockey on a regular basis for the myriad of weeklies and dailies I worked for in New Brunswick, pretty well from the early 1990s on to my semi-retirement in the mid-2010s, I always knew there was going to be an important moment in women's hockey, and we had that last night in China at the Olympics. The first World Championships, this is how unserious he took Team Canada. He put our women's team into pink uniforms at the first Worlds. Of course, we won. But the ongoing rivalry between Team USA and Team Canada has reached such a fever level of the last number of years that it can't really be talked about in common, public, because there's an abject hatred between Team Canada and Team USA, besides the player from Team Canada who married a player from Team USA. Now, Olympics last night, Canada won 3-2, a very dominant victory over Team USA. They led 3-0 and again held the lead for most of the game. But what's kind of ironic here, this came on the backs of a very bad time for Canadian hockey. We lost at the 2018 Olympics to Team USA in overtime. We didn't win the Worlds for a number of years, but Paulin and the rest of the top players, we won the Worlds in 2021 on a big overtime goal by Paulin. But the game last night showed two great teams, two great rivals playing great hockey, and CBC did a very nice report on it, and I think the only way you can do it justice is to break it down through an article that was published by Miles Dichter, a very good reporter with CBC. Now, the headline reads, Canada beats rival U.S. to reclaim Olympic women's hockey supremacy. Now, when we say hockey supremacy, world champion, Olympic champion, pretty well in the same year. Now, according to the write-up, we had waited 4 long years for Olympic women's hockey recognition, mainly because in 2018 we lost at the Olympics, and in 2019 we failed to even reach the final of the Worlds, which would have been unheard of 10 years ago. Now that's when the countdown began, literally. GM Gina Kingsbury gave each team member a clock displaying the days, hours, minutes, and seconds until the 2022 Olympics. Now, after the clock says 0, there's Olympic gold medals around Canadian necks once more after defeating U.S. 3-2 on Thursday morning, literally. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning Atlantic time, to claim the first title since 2014. Now, Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored twice, including her third career Olympic game-winning goal, while the great Sarah Nurse's goal and assist pushed her past Canadian great Hayley Wickenheiser for most points in a single tournament with 18. Now, a lot of people remember the 2002 Salt Lake City debacle, where American referee gave the Canadians so many penalties. I think they were in the penalty box for a full period, and we eventually won 3-2, and allegedly our flag was on the U.S. Dressing room, which was proved to be negative, but Haley said, after being interviewed after the victory, he said, I heard you have our flag on the dressing room. Do you want us to come over and sign it? That's how intense it was back then. It's sort of calmed down a little bit lately, but it's still pretty bizarre how much the negativity has led to positivity. Now, according to write-up, it's quite the journey even since the clocks were distributed. Canada won its first World since 2010. In August, a game I saw, one of the best hockey games in Team Canada history. Last October, it centralized with a group of 29 players in Calgary to prepare for 6 months for the Beijing Olympics. In January, that centralization became a bubble following a COVID-19 breakout. Now, the great Natalie Spooner said, we were looking at that clock all the time. We had it in our houses, and even through COVID, we obviously weren't able to be together for a lot of that time. So we had that clock there to make sure we did our own work on those off days to make sure we were ready when we came back as a team. And all that work paid off in Beijing. Now, there was rumors also that there could have been a lucky loony on the ice for the final. It hasn't been confirmed yet. If a lot of people know that, the person who did the ice in Salt Lake City, it was Canadian, put a lucky loony into the ice for the men's game. Now, according to Nurse, she can finally call herself an Olympic champion. Coming off in 2018 and having that silver medal, it felt like a weight of the world on her shoulders. Of course, Canada lost in overtime to the States. But having this goal, it's going to feel as light as ever. Now, That shocking shootout loss, a lot of people remember that, where Team Canada was on its way definitely to win the gold medal, but it eventually didn't work out. Now, entering that game, Canada had won 4 consecutive gold medals and sent the Habs squad home without gold for the first time since '98, when Team USA won the inaugural Olympic title. Now, the article goes on to say, Poulin, known quite accurately as Captain Clutch, now has 7 goals across 4 Olympic finals. She has 3 golds and 1 silver. She scored both goals in 2010 in a 2-0 win over the States, netting the late equalizer and golden overtime marker in 2014, and even tallied once in the 2018 loss. In case there were doubts about her poise, she also slapped the overtime winner at Worlds last August, which was very bizarre. She scored a goal, but it wasn't confirmed for about a minute. It was in and out so quickly. She also added 2 more in Canada's pre-games exhibition series against the Americans. Now, the 30-year-old from Beauce, Quebec, who might be back for 2026, is the first hockey player to ever score in 4 separate Olympic gold medal games. That's saying a lot. Earlier Thursday, Finland bet Switzerland 4-0 to claim bronze. Now, at the Olympics, Canada won all 70 games in Beijing, outscoring opponents 57-10 along the way, giving up 4 goals to Team USA in 2 victories. Now, those 57 tournament goals surpassed the 44 of their 2010 predecessors as the most ever. Now, the starter, Anne-Renée Desbiens, had a good game, making 38 saves in Thursday's finals. Now, Brianne Jenner, who was named tournament MVP, tied the Olympic goals record with 9. Poulin wound up with 17 points to match Wickenheiser, while Claire Thompson's 3 goals and 10 assists were a tournament high in points by a defender. Cyril Fillier was second among all players, a rookie of course, with 8 tallies of her own. The 21-year-old had tears in her eyes as she choked in the win. It's insane. I can't stop shaking. I can't stop crying. This is like a dream come true, and it's been a really long 4 years. And to do it with the girls on this team, there's nothing more special than that. Now, Poulin credited the team effort for the victory. These girls out there, she told CBC reporter, we celebrate each other's success. We want to succeed and be honest and just go tonight. From line to line, people were dialed in. We did it, and we're very happy. The nurse called the victory a dream come true. Now, initially, Team Canada scored, but it was disallowed by a late offside call through video review. But the build-up a 1-0 lead extended to 3-0 late. And eventually, the Americans cut the 7th to 2 when Hilary Knight scored a short-handed goal late in the second. Knight said, I don't think we played up to our potential. I really like our team, we love each other, and are willing to go through wall for each other. At the end of the day, I'm proud of our effort. Now, Canada then went to the protection mode in the third period, relying on Desbiens, who counted 15 of her stops in her final frame, and the great Amanda Kessel brought the Americans within run with 12.5 seconds left, but of course it was too little, too late. Now, the idea of the game was quite interesting. I like to see the ratings of this, of how many people across Canada watched the contest literally in the middle of the night. I would figure between 3 and 7 million people. But what's going on with Canada with the various protests, I don't think a lot of people really understood the importance of the Olympic program for the women's system that led to this gold medal. This was literally a modern team effort you would see with the old Father Bauer or Olympic program with non-NHLers years before. I think in the history of Canadian national teams, this squad ranks definitely in the top 5. To see the success they had, and going to a country like China and having the pressure of not only repeating but to beat a team that's almost sometimes better than you are, because at many points in the last decade the States were the better team. But the idea is, it's like the U.S. women's soccer team, where Team Canada won the Olympics over Team USA Challenge and everybody else. It just is Team Canada's time. For some reason, Team Canada was a team of destiny. To watch that overtime against Team USA at the Worlds alone, I have it on my PVR, to see how dedicated the team was to going the next level. Now, what really scared me, they had an American, one of the referees was American in Thursday morning's game. And if you remember 2002, my God, we got so many penalties. I mean, the referee, I don't think she ever worked again. God bless her, she tried, but she didn't. She failed in every way. But I, at one point, was threatened by a person at a rink in Dalhousie. It said, if you ever put another women's photo on the front page of the paper, I'm going to have you fired, or I'm going to cancel all my subscription to my ads. It was that bad back in the 1990s. No one would say that 30 years later. No one would say, can you imagine going back in time and telling these people, by the way, one of the greatest moments of the 2022 Olympics will be the Canadian women's hockey team. I don't think you would believe it. Women's hockey is a different form of hockey, but it's comparable to a very strong junior tier 2 or AA program. The players are very fluid. We haven't had that really big power forward because obviously there's no hit to women's hockey. But our goaltending has always been strong. The graduates in our program have given back to the sport a number of years as broadcasters and coaches and developers. We usually have a good base of young players in Team Canada, buoyed by a group of veterans. Now, I saw the silver medal from my New Brunswick counterpart, Stacey Wilson, when she was doing a tour in New Brunswick. And when I talked to Stacey about that, and I said, how does it feel being an Olympic medalist? He said, I wish it was gold. Because when you lose to an arch rival, it's hard, but when you beat them, but then you lose them again and beat them again, it feels much more sweeter. Because no matter what happened, that other team is pushing you. The other team is saying, you want to do your best, we're going to give you your best. And U.S. really played their heart out. I give all the respect to them. This is not as dirty of a mental game as back in the day. When in 2002, that referee deliberately, I think she was paid off so the States would win at home. And it didn't work out. It's kind of thing here. Team Canada players, only Mano Rayom and Haley Wickenheiser were household names. Now all Team Canada's players are becoming household names. That's what you want. Not say normalize is not the right word, but equalize. Women's hockey should have as much respect as any other form of hockey. Pro hockey, amateur hockey, senior hockey, all different levels. Hockey is Canada's game, and hockey is important. And I want to say this to all the fans who's listening to this, Team Canada and USA fans, God bless you all, because nobody gave a good goddamn about women's hockey over 35 years ago. Look how far we've come, ladies and gentlemen. Look how far we've come since those old pink jerseys back in the day. Pretty freaky, ladies and gentlemen. And as we like to say in the North Shore of New Brunswick, keep your stick in the ice. If you like what we're doing here, we're Olympic coverage, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. Another 15 or 16 podcasts. Subscriptions, we will be hitting 1,000, and that's something we never expected here because it's just a word-of-mouth podcast channel, but we appreciate you dropping in. And don't forget, if you can support your daughter, your niece, your granddaughter, your wife, anybody who wants to get into women's hockey, be it pickup, whatever, please encourage them, because hockey is a game of skill, it's a game of teamwork, and when it's really, really good, I'm not talking about the bullying and the name calling, when it's really, really good, it is the best sport ever, because no matter what happens, good or bad, mostly good, at the end you're going to have pizza or beer. No pun intended. That's how hockey is. Anyway, thanks for listening, and again, go Canada, go. Bye.